they asked Carla straight up, where the money at? How you make the money?
But the dad said,
yeah. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us again. I am Intisar Eleanor. This is my beautiful husband, Joseph Conner, and you are on the Conner's Couch. Today, we are talking all things Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode
4.
Episode 4.
Yeah. We got a special drink for today brought to you by our good friends over at Poppy. So, you know, Zar is a gin and tonic girl. So hers is just a play on gin and tonic with the strawberry lemon poppy.
Yes.
And the indigo gin.
Is it Indogo or Indogo?
I'm not going. Don't start me to line. Indigo sounds way better than Indogo to me. I feel like I heard a bartender say Indigo to us though. But if we wrong, sorry, Indigo. For mines, I'm doing the cranberry fizz. This is the limited edition holiday flavor here, the cranberry fizz. So I'm doing that with just some vodka, some Tito's.
All right, well, shout out to Poppy.
Shout out to Poppy. Thank you guys.
Cheers, honey. I guess we're gonna go from couple to couple because that's how I like to do it. And we're going to start with Juan and Carla.
Yeah.
Because I like them, okay? Juan has made it very clear by this point that he is the more business-minded of the two. And yes. I think Carla accepts that assessment to be true as well. They start to talk about finances and what she spends her money on, one of which is being the juices from her, the $13 juices a day. And I had, when I was coming up, you know, as a young accountant or whatever the case may be, mentor, and he used to tell me all the time, like, people will tell you to give up your coffees and, you know, these little things that just make your day better. And he was like, the truth of the matter is, you purchasing a coffee a day, you could save some money over time. But how much joy does it bring for you to go and grab you a coffee? Sometimes you can't quantify that.
Right.
And you might think it's $10, but truthfully, it's so much more than that.
Yeah.
And he was like, you know, it's our job to find other ways that people could really be saving this money exponentially over time without taking away. It's like going on a bad diet.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're not eating carbs, you're not eating this. Eventually, you're going to go right back to that. And
right.
It's going to be exponential.
Right.
So it's our jobs to find a way to
do something that's sustainable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you guys don't know, Joe and I go get coffee every day. We got an espresso maker, a Keurig, a tea kettle. We got all the apparatus.
And we use those things.
And we use those things. I drink tea every morning.
And when I make my espresso martinis, I use the real espresso. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And that's mostly for the weekends anyway. So
right. But we do, and during the week, we just go and grab us. But that's our respite. Mm-hmm. That's our break from the day. So when she said that she, you know, has her juice every day, I know Carla comes off as all over the place and aloof or whatever the case may be, but she doesn't strike me as irresponsible.
She doesn't strike me as irresponsible, maybe aloof a little bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think maybe that's what Juan's hesitation might be. But not like, you know, not irresponsible. And there are workarounds to get to the goals that you want to get to. Like you said, you got to do the things that matter. Yes. And it's like, you know, even us, like, we have been budgeting for the past couple months, and we probably save more money with going out less as far as like dinners, and we still be outside a lot, but most of the time it's like connected to, you know, things that we're doing. We're not spending the same amount of money, period.
We are not.
So most of the times we're saving more money, and we're cooking more at home and saving more money there than we would if we just never went to go get a coffee, right?
Yes.
So it's just doing things that make
But that makes us happy to go get the coffee.
Right.
Which also it makes me happy to cook dinner. So
right.
It's like, but I'm not cooking dinner tonight because I don't feel like it.
I just cleaned the kitchen, so I don't.
Also that.
But I think that's sustainable. We've been doing it for a while. It's been helping us.
Right.
So that's been sustainable. So that's, I think, these little things, these little hookups that might seem so big when you just meeting somebody, you can figure these things out.
And I think that's the truth as well. And I also caution people from being so intent on pushing their thoughts and ideologies on people when they first meet them.
Yeah, and just
I thought
open.
It was too soon to even go there. Like, I think you just got to hear her. Like, okay, let me make a mental note. That is something we will circle back on later. But I want to get to know you fully, because then you don't want it to be a thing, Juan, where you've discouraged her from telling you how she spends.
Right. You have to be open in your listening, so they're open in their giving and communication, right? You don't want her to close off or feel like, damn, I can't even tell you anything. You know what I mean?
Or I did buy that bag and it was this amount.
Right.
I'm the queen of hiding the bag.
And you just have to be open to, marriage is a lot of figuring out and compromising, especially in the beginning. So you have to come into this process completely open, especially because you don't even know this person. So y'all need to exercise a different level of openness, which is weird because most of them do not. Like,
but they don't.
It's like weird.
They don't. That's because it's increasingly every season we're inch clearer that we're on TV. And that makes you less in a situation where you're supposed to be the most transparent. It's making them less and less and less transparent, because people pick what we don't get is that people are going to pick apart what you say, whether you said it right or wrong.
It doesn't matter what you say.
It really doesn't matter, right? So it's in your best interest as you're going through something like this to be your fullest self. And it's funny because I do believe, even though Juan doesn't give me the most genuine, and I don't know what it is that's like sticking in my craw, but I still believe he's showing up in his authentic way. I just think his authentic way may include him being disingenuous.
And
does that make sense?
Yes.
You ever meet somebody who's authentically like,
it's just like that's what they do. It's like their default. So,
yes.
I know somebody like that.
Yes, that's what I mean. You know what I mean? But I think that's authentic to him.
Yeah.
It just reads as disingenuous to me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about another thing that I felt like was a premature conversation, which was her sisters asking him, could she stay at home and not work?
It's just...
which Carla broached this subject as well.
It's none of your business. The same way, which we'll get there, the same way, what STDs one of these guys got or what they
Madison's
test look
dad.
like. These things are so inappropriate, especially when you do not know that. It's inappropriate when you know them. I wish a mother jumper would. But it's especially inappropriate when in the same sentence they're like, so what's your last name? Like, where are you from? Like, there's so many more, poignant and meaningful questions to ask somebody than like, oh, well, can she be a stay-at-home wife? Like, they haven't even had these conversations.
Well,
yet.
they did.
And that's what makes it inappropriate too.
Well, Carla did broach the subject.
Not in depth.
She did not. I think she just wanted to make it clear that once she began having children, she wanted to stay home, which I do think is an important conversation to have. But I also think it is premature.
It's very premature.
And I also think what people... So two things got to be true here, right? One thing, you got to know that his ideology aligns with yours. That's why I think she's having the conversation early, right? Like, she might decide she still wants to work. Women do it all the time. But she's saying, in the event, I would default to not working, right? But I also think that, like, the conversation could have been had... So there's this thing in my brain where I feel like sometimes you're generous by nature and sometimes you're just generous to the person that you're with.
I was just about to go there. So it's so wild that you said that.
So I think that sometimes, like, I like to meet people who are generous in nature. Do you think you're generous in nature? Or you're just generous in...
No.
Do you think you're generous in relationship?
Yes.
Okay. I would agree. I think, but I also thought you were generous. I always thought you were generous.
I think that if I was in this situation and I didn't know Carla, I would be like, you can't even ask me to, like, that's even, you can't, I don't even know you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like
it's too soon.
I do things for my wife that I would never imagine doing. And that today I don't even think about. It's not even a thing. It's not even a thing in my mind. I just do it because of the person that I know she is, and because of conversations and things that we've talked about, and things that I know helps her in her day, or she just wants me to show up as. Like, those things I just do. Somebody just meeting me at a bar could never ask me to do 99.9% of those things. My initial reaction would be no. Like, no. Why? Why would I do this for you?
Joe is a bad bitch. Okay, Joe really is a baddie. He really be like, why would I do that?
You got to think this too, right? Like, for the women out there, as a woman, a man walks up to you in a bar. He said, "Oh, can I buy you a drink?" And he's good looking. He's nice. You know what I mean? He got charisma. You start a conversation, and his first question is, I would like for us to, have sex at least 5 times a week. Exactly. That would be you'd be like, I don't even know. Like, what?
Yeah. And I think
now you might marry this mother jumper
and have sex
and actually do it
right,
2 years later, right? Because there's the whole nother, realm of intangibles that come into play with things like that. Yes. That's also why I think it's premature.
Yes. I think I agree with that. And I did feel like the conversation, one, I appreciated her sister being city girls and just laying it out on the table. Do you got money? Where the money at? And we staying home when we had these babies. I did appreciate that. But on the other hand, I do think that you want to foster an environment where being generous is a part of the foundation. And sometimes that's allowing people to bloom into that. You know what I mean? Like, you plant your little seed of whatever, or, show them how you can be generous, and then they return in kind. And then you start to have those conversations deeper into, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but if you are a sibling or a relative, this is not your place.
I also
especially newlyweds. You let them
because we ain't kids. We ain't meet at the movie theater. Right. You got money.
Right. Especially newlyweds. You let them figure these things out amongst each other, and then come to you in time when they want to come to you. If he asked you your opinion about it, then give it. Yeah. But he did not. He's sitting in front of you for the first time at brunch. His financial status and the way that they will work their lives financially is none of your business.
And I absolutely agree with that. But talking about none of your business, Juan made it very clear though that they both have to contribute. And I don't need, sometimes you just want to know that a man wants to take care of you.
He don't know you enough to even go there.
That's too much to say?
Yep.
Okay. But you don't think, I think that people can just be generous. Like, I have dated men who just wanted to, any woman they would have been with, the standard for them was taking care of the woman that they're with. Yeah, yeah. And I think that's what they're looking for. The problem is, if you don't go out and pick that person, you're gonna get whatever these people give you.
And not only that, especially after he told you his predicament, right. This is not, you have to ease into those things. You know what I mean? Because he already told you, I am
wrapped up in his app. So
listen, read the room.
Juan's parents Juan's parents are stunning, by the way.
Yeah.
And he really just comes from a beautiful family. Mm-hmm. They asked Carla straight up, where the money at? How you make the money?
But the dad said, yeah. Quite literally, like, she was talking about something, and the dad literally interrupted her, like, oh, okay. How are you making your money?
The dad don't know either.
Right.
But what I appreciated, though, when Carla was talking to the parents, she told them straight up, like, I don't expect for him, like, I expect for us to contribute to this household together and figure things out together. And I thought that was dope. Like, you know what I mean? To me, it didn't read that she was looking for somebody to take care of her, just that she was making a precedent about what she expected in the future. Yeah. Which I felt like was okay. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. Let's move on. That's all I got on Juan and Carla. I like them, y'all. I ain't gonna lie.
I do too.
let's talk about Camille and Mike. Another couple I like.
Thomas.
Why do I keep calling this man Michael?
I have no clue. Like,
is his brother named Mike? Man. Thomas.
They so twins. His brother is probably named Timothy.
But look, in my notes.
I don't. Sorry to that man.
Tom. Oh my God. Please forgive me. It's not you. It's me. Charge it to my head and not my heart. So Camille and Tom. Tom seems very comfortable with Camille. Yeah, like if I wasn't watching this show, I would believe they met each other on the street.
I would too.
And they just getting it on together. How do you feel about their age gap? It's about 10 years.
I don't think it's an issue because she's a woman of an age who seems to me that she would be looking for an older man, somebody who is a lot more settled in their life and grounded and established. So I don't, and I think that their energy kind of vibes, you know what I mean? So she doesn't seem like she want to be out running the streets anyway, and he don't seem like he got the energy to be out running the streets, you know what I mean?
But the thing is, he seems so chill.
He seems so chill.
In my notes I have, is he gardening or does he have a sleepy face?
I think he just has a
and that's not a dig, Tom. I really like you, so
I do too. I think he just has.
I just think he chill,
resting sleepy face.
Yeah, he just chill. But I do. First of all, I love a man with very little words. Okay,
he is.
When the men's get to talking, I got to go. Okay, because I'll be done burst into flames. But love a man with very few words. That's number one. Number two, Thomas just seems so you know how I said Juan seems disingenuous but authentic to himself? Mm-hmm. Thomas seems very genuine.
Oh, yeah.
Like he doesn't even, it almost feels to me, he doesn't even have the capacity to produce himself.
Oh, yeah, no.
This is just who he is.
He's very much so like, what you see is what you get to me. His brother seems the same way. So
oh my God, they were raised well.
Yeah, it kind of tracks.
Yeah, because they got like such a homey energy.
Yes.
And I think the reason why we feel like her and Camille and Tom are like such a sound couple is because their vibrations are aligned.
Yeah, because she's also
she gives the same energy to me.
She's very genuine.
Yes.
And I think the reason why we see him, so comfortable off the rip is that she kind of gives me that she is, making him very comfortable and making him, making it easy for him to be vulnerable and to really give into the process from the jump.
I agree. So Tom sits down with Camille's.
Not Mike again.
I don't know who the fuck. Let me erase it. Because I'm like looking at my notes. I don't believe I wrote this. Tom. Oh my God. Thomas meets with Camille's dad.
Yeah.
And I thought when the dad don't seem no nonsense to me. He had his chest out looking like Billy D or somebody. And he do not seem like the type that play, okay, had a little line in his little chin or whatever.
He definitely one of them.
But he was very, very, he said, when he said, I like you, you know what I mean? But that's my daughter.
Yeah.
I thought that was so real. Like, because Thomas is very likable. And everything he said, like, I'm taking this very seriously and I want to be honest with her and see it through and make sure she is taken care of. I literally don't believe anything that comes out of man's mouth that's not named Joseph Conner. And I believed every word that he said.
Well, I think that if you are taking people as they are, that should be your reaction, right? Like some people come in looking for smoke, especially in these interactions. And the people who are not giving you that energy back, it's hard to continue down that road, right? The dad gave me, he was kind of looking for smoke. In the beginning, he gave you that? 1,000%. But then Thomas is just Thomas. He I don't know what you're looking for.
I don't know what you're looking for.
I signed up for this for a wife, and I hope that we stay married too. He just kind of answering questions very much himself. And so I think it's hard to you got to really be married to the agenda if you still going with that smoke. And I think that's where he said, you know what? I like you. You know what I mean? I feel like he wanted to say you know what? I was really about to come in here and try to, emotionally swing on you, but I can't. You're not even giving that energy. I like you.
That's probably why his chest hair was out.
It was. He got his
that was a sign.
Did you see That was it.
One thing that Thomas said that I thought was not a red flag, but something that I think in his marriage he'll work on. I don't think it's a red flag at all, but he'll work on this. Is that he tries to avoid conflict if possible. How do you feel about that, Joe?
It tracks. I mean, he doesn't. It's so ironically just talking about looking for smoke. He doesn't seem the type to look for smoke. You know, sometimes we can take that messaging as a negative when it's really, sometimes we can take it as I'm avoiding communication. And sometimes that is what it means, depending on the person. And sometimes it just means I'd rather conflict resolve than butt heads. And I think that's where Thomas was coming from.
Oh, he would rather just resolve the issues.
Yes. He doesn't seem like, sometimes we think those people are evaders, right? I avoid conflict can sometimes be interpreted as I evade conversation. He doesn't strike me as that type. I could be wrong, but just from first impressions, I think he means I'd rather talk about things, sit down, communicate with you than butt heads.
But he doesn't strike me as the type that brings it up.
No, he doesn't.
Does strike me as the type that'll continue. He'll have the conversation.
I agree. I don't think he'll
but I don't think he's going to bring it up.
But I do think that if she wants to have a conversation, he'll be like, okay, let's talk about this.
Yeah. Camille sits down with Thomas's twin, his mom, and his twin's wife. And his mom is really the cutest, his adopted mom, or his mama, you know what I mean, is really the cutest thing. And you can see how they are like really into the process. I think that they felt that this was really good for him, want to get him out of his shell, but also like, let's start moving this stuff forward. You know what I mean? Like y'all all stagnant and stuff like that, where we could really be living this life fully.
Yeah.
You don't want to wake up and then you 50 years old like David Banner talking about, I want a wife.
Not like
what David the, are you a weirdo, bro? You know what I think it's weird. Like, so like, let's get the ball rolling. Like, do you like women? You know what I mean? Like, and I really do like that they are supporting them. What that tells me about Camille and Thomas's family is that they think they are good people. Yeah,
and I think they feel hopeful after seeing, at this point, they've seen their interaction together. So they got a little bit, it's short, but they got a little bit of their vibe and how they would, vibe off each other. And I think that they are encouraged by that as well. And I think the families bring that into the meetings when they sit down with them, because this is all post-wedding, right? So I think they bring that into the meetings, positive or negatively.
I think that Camille and David, like if I could put my money on anybody, it would be Camille and David.
His name is Thomas. I don't know why she does not. Yo, we got it on a giant screen in front of us. Like she refused to call. I'm sorry to that.
I'm thinking about David next. Oh my God, y'all! I had too much B12, y'all.
I'm sorry.
I am so sorry. Y'all ever had too much B12 and get you jittery? That's where I'm at in my B12 journey. I am so sorry. If I had to put money on anybody, it would be Camille and Thomas. I just think that their interactions feel like I hate when people use the word organic, because people will use the word organic but not know there's organic tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and onions, and you got to treat them differently. And I feel like this is organic tomatoes and it's feeling good. He got tomatoes, she got tomatoes, and they raising them together. Yeah. It's feeling very, very good. So I'm excited for them. I will put about 25 cents on Juan and Carla because I see it for them too, if I'm being honest. Like, I would match them. And I would too. You know what I mean? If I were a matchmaker, which I'm trying to get into. So I would match them too. You know what I mean? So let's talk about, I want to talk about EKG and MM. And this is on purpose that I'm doing the people of color first. Because I think there's a theme here that I really want to get to around women. Yeah. Okay. So EKG and MM are still feeling to me performative.
Why you say that?
I just feel like, hey, husband.
All right, so here's my thing.
Hey, wife.
I totally get that.
Because you know I'm a wife.
I feel like I can agree with that because I feel like those type of interactions they would have with anybody, like no matter who the other person was. Like I feel like MM would be my man, no matter who they paired her with. That's not based off of her interaction with the KG.
So how do you feel do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing? I appreciate her tenacity and excitement about the experience. So I don't want to take that out of context when I'm saying.
Right. And I don't think that...
I'm like blending in.
I don't think that it's... that's hilarious. I don't think that it's neither a good thing or a bad thing. I think it's just a thing, right? I think that because we're early, if we were 6 weeks in, I would think it was a bad thing, right?
Yeah.
But because we are early, I just think... Okay, she's excited to be married. She should be. She signed up for a show called Married at First Sight. And she didn't know who the person was.
And so you know what? Inversely, I think you're right? Because if I think about the history of it, right, people aren't excited. And it's like, you made this decision.
Yeah.
And I said this earlier. It's a testament to how Black women be really knowing what's good, like really going on their journeys and being specific about the thing that they want. And I think that she is such a successful human that this is just another sign of that. Like, listen, I made this decision. I got picked. I'm going through with it.
Yes.
And that's my husband.
Yes. And
it just annoys into Zar Conner.
No. It annoys me. Okay.
It just annoys me.
I don't. It just is a little skeevy.
It's over the top.
But at the same time.
And I love this 20 years.
But at the same time, I agree with you that there's parts of it is about being committed to the process. So I guess you can call it admirable, because and he does the same thing. And she
but also, it feels like mirroring.
I was just about to say that.
Oh, okay. I wrote it down because you told me that, so I wanted to make sure I got you in there.
So
laid you up.
The other part of it that is a little off to me is that it does feel like she mirrors him a lot. Like there's a part of the conversation that happens in this episode where I don't know if y'all caught it. I think they were just waking up, I think. Mm-hmm. And they were having a conversation and she was repeating everything he said, right? So he would say, hey, wifey. And she would say, hi, husband. And he would say, you looking real good. And she would say, I am looking real good. Like, it was just
Joe, a lot that was really annoying me. All you said was three lines.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's hard for us to watch when she's doing that. So I think that part of that is also why we're leaning to the performative thing. But in the beginning, when you do not genuinely know this person, you do have to have a little bit of... I think everybody does a little bit of that. Speak this to an existence type thing, you know what I mean? So I'm not going to give them... I'm going to just back off for that reason, because this is like day 3. I actually believe that, and I experienced that like with someone, and they were just like... This is going to sound so crazy, but I'm about to tell my business. I was dating this person, and it was like a week of dates, like a full week of like every day. He was like taking me out. He was really in competition with a lot of people, so he was like making his presence known. And then at the end of the week, he was love bombing me, but it was okay because why wouldn't you love bomb me? I love me too, right? At the end of the week, this is no bullshit, y'all. He says to me, "We should just start telling each other we love each other." And I was like, "What?" We had like I was like, "Well, why would we like?" She told me this. Wait, I was like, well, why would we do that? And he was like, because if we start saying it now, then we'll just really believe, like, eventually, like, when we're in love, we'll be really in love. And I ain't gonna lie, y'all, I think that shit worked. No. That mother, it was like a Jedi mind trick. Like, it was like, I am skinny. This is an apple. You know what I mean? Like, last night I wanted barbecue, but I ate a cheese plate. And the whole time I'm thinking, ooh, this is a nice piece of brisket. It worked. Yeah, no. I mean, maybe it didn't, but it kind of did at the moment. And here's the thing about this, right? I appreciated it. Here's the thing about this. There's a part of the counseling that they get is instructing them to actually do things that they don't mean yet. Yes. So I'm not going to do even too much on that, because I do think that the professionals, to a certain extent, will encourage you to start doing things that they would say don't feel natural or organic to them.
Yes.
Yet, right. So I can get with part of that, but there's a line to it.
Because what feels natural to you?
Right. Because you also don't want to feel like you're performing.
Because then when you cut it off.
And then when do we enjoy when we get to that point? I remember the day I either told Zar that I love her or she said it back to me. I just remember it. You know what I mean? And I remember
that was 100 years ago.
And it was 100 years ago. And I remember it because it wasn't just a thing that we were throwing around, even at a young age.
No.
And at a young age, it would have been acceptable. Like, people say crazy shit when they 16 to 17 dating, right? But it wasn't just a thing. So when it happened, it was so meaningful that I never forgot it. You understand what I'm saying? So I think that that's the line for me, just personally. I don't want people to rob themselves of that. Like, I want you to, when you do fall for this person, it should be like, yes, you should. I want that for y'all because I experienced that and I want that so bad for my people.
But you know what? I'm going to tell y'all something. And I told this to Jazz, Joe's sister, and we were talking about like these shows and just life in general. And I think we're just coming up on a time where people are going to be less inclined to marry for love. I don't think that falling in love is the standard.
But they are saying it is. That's the little asterisk.
But people will give you every quality except for what would be that you just love about a human. You know what I mean? And I think, and that's coming from a person that just had a standard of living in life and still do. You know what I mean? And I think that, but being that person who is also, you know, very sprinkle, I also can say that I don't think y'all want to be in love, which is cool. Don't, especially now. These men ain't no good, especially these.
The problem is that people are claiming that they are looking for love, and they're convincing themselves that they're looking for love, when their lists and all of the check boxes say everything but that.
And that's what I'm saying.
Y'all are not. I just want y'all to
be honest with yourself.
Stand on whatever business that you're claiming, right? Because I'm just tired of people telling me that they're looking for love and they really just looking for a sponsor. Like, if you just looking for a sponsor, just say that.
Which I love my sponsor too.
And just rock with that. But I think that's the conflict and the distastefulness that I have in my mouth about the whole dating scene today. Is that a lot of y'all claim y'all looking for love, but then your checklist just says, I want the same man that everybody else wants. And ultimately, I just want him to be my sponsor.
But I think that you're right. I just really don't think that these people are looking for. I want to think about like what I was thinking when I was falling in love and being a young woman and out in the world. Like, what did I even want in a spouse? It's funny because I think about now, right? Like, I tell people all the time, like, a lot now it's not what I want. It's more about what I'm not willing to accept. And I'm blessed. Me and my husband grew up with each other, and he's also very handsome. So a lot of parts of that, and he's also very generous, and he takes care of me. So a lot of parts of that, I don't got a dog in the fight. But I do think that I would like to, having been in a certain space in my life where all I cared about was the finances or whatever the case may be, being somewhere where I'm in partnership with somebody or whatever, it just feels different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my life feels really full in a way that I thought my purses and my shoes had me feeling, and going to the hair salon once a week and doing all that, you know what I mean? Get my nails and feet done once. Like, I thought that all of those things were filling me up. And I think that it's different now. And I think that
the testament to that,
but get the bag.
But the testament to that is also allowing the other things, the other aspects of what your goals are, to grow into that. And I think we see such a lack of foresight in singles today, right? Where, like, when you first started dating, think about when you first started dating when you were younger, it wasn't compiled from day one with all of these expectations, which allowed you to just fall in like with a person.
Yes.
Right. And when you go into it the list and the CVS list of expectations, it lessens and lessens and lessens and lessens your chance to even get to know the person.
But that's men and women. Like the things that men, like it's
to
just
even get
wild.
to know the person to allow that like to grow. And I think a lot of singles now are stifling themselves in the infancy of a relationship because right off the back, it's like
it's job interviews. Y'all going to coffee.
Interview.
But you know what?
It's literally a job interview.
I was talking to Salima about this, and this is such a sidebar, but this goddamn episode ain't had that much going on nowhere. I was talking to Salima about coffee dates. I said, men have warped your brain into thinking y'all are the ones choosing to go on coffee dates. And y'all have been Jedi mind tricked. You remember we was all here in the house for your birthday, and we all chatting about it, and they were telling me, no, like I prefer to go on a coffee date because then I'm not relegated to like spend, like you want to meet somebody and you don't want to spend time getting to know them.
Yeah. So what they were saying was, it was a safe eject button for them. This is a room full of like single women at the time.
And I'm sitting there like mouth ajar. Like, I'm like, wait, what? So the main point was, well, you don't know this person. And I'm like, I dated in a time where men would quite literally ride up on you at the bus stop. Like, pick you up in the street, okay? Give you their number. You do not know this human. He is a perfect stranger. You go to dinner. He pays. You move on. I recognize that all men do not want to pay for dinner. I recognize we're in a different time. When. But that's a how you pick people thing, right? Because I also think that, and I told Salima this, they were like, well, everybody doesn't want to do that. That means that they're dating incorrectly because he should be dating, if he's dating intentionally, feeding you steak for dinner is romance.
But you know what this is? This is less about the way that people are choosing to go about dating based off of their own wants and needs, and more about the short attention span that the swipe culture has created.
It is so much. It's done so much to you all, but that's why you all have an issue with tapping into your divine feminine. Because if you big poom poom energy, he going to want to feed it. Okay, he's going to want to, and that's what y'all don't get. And because it's no way. I told him straight to their face, I'm not drinking no coffee with no grown ass man. But I'm not doing that.
The coffee date to me, to the singles of today,
it's unserious.
It's just an in-person swipe.
Yes.
So they're trying to bring the swipe culture into a physical
1,000%
sense, and that's what it is. Oh, I can just because I think one of our friends literally just said I can just leave quickly.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and that just is the swipe culture of like, oh, we talk for a little bit. I don't vibe with you. I'm on to the next.
But then how do you build romance?
But that's what I mean. To me, your date that kind of reduces your dating experience to volume.
Yes.
Which is why everybody is, to us, tell us if we're wrong, to us, it seems like you're just interviewing people.
Yes.
And getting applicants in and out is your goal. Like, okay, I'm going on coffee dates because I don't have time. I just want to get them out. And then I'm on these apps just swiping because I don't have time. I just want to get them out. And I'm looking at all the way that they are telling me that the detail is on your profile now. You don't even have to ask these people, the food they like. It's in their profile.
Which is
or
wild.
Their sign, it's in their profile. Or their age, or whether they smoke, or whether they drink, or whether they like to leave the toilet seat up or down. It's in their profile. So to me, it just adds to this impatient swipe. Like I don't have an attention span at all. And I'm talking about of all ages now. This swipe culture that the singles are living in now.
I completely agree. And the problem is these men do not respect y'all because y'all relegated yourselves to $4 cup of coffee.
Well,
and y'all don't want to believe that, but I'm telling you the mammy tapping truth.
I always say that the man is going to go as far as you let him go.
And so if you want coffee,
if your standard is Starbucks,
a cup of Joe,
then Starbucks is going to be the standard. If your
and that's it, and that's all. It don't, and I don't understand why y'all don't understand that. We was 16 doing two. Joe took me on a date every single weekend, bro. Yeah. Every single weekend. We were 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Y'all are grown humans. y'all would relegate yourself to one of these because I don't have
or less than that. That's where the saying Netflix and chill.
Yeah, because my cup of coffee is $8, $9.
Right, that part. And that's where the Netflix and chill moniker came from. It came from less than a coffee date. Like, I'm not even going outside. You're going to sit on this brown Conner's couch, and we're going to sit here and watch Netflix and chill.
But I also think this is a sign that we need more rom-coms. Because I told you I date like I'm in a rom-com. Like, my life seems like this whirlwind romance because it is, in fact, a whirlwind romance. I've directed it that way. You know what I mean? And I think that, like, there's less of them, so people don't see what romance looks like any longer.
But you know why I'm going to push back on that? Because what romance doesn't look like is the movies.
No, but that's something to aspire to. We don't even have nothing to aspire to.
Well, I agree with that.
We're going to be on Power with Ghost in the John. He got his real wife and then his actual wife on both sides. Like, come on. That's what people saying.
But listen, what I'm saying is I think that now a lot of our present day singles are looking for a Hollywood romance, and that's not what it looks like. It doesn't look like...
No, they're looking for a Disney romance, and that's not what it looks like.
Okay, so maybe correction.
I think they're looking for something
they're looking for...
infantile.
Well, because the amount of singles that I talk to now where the first sign of any conflict, they're out. This is like a unanimous thing.
Oh, yeah, true.
Right? True. And so that's what I mean by they looking for... That's not what real relationship don't look like. I'll go with you there. I feel that you have, left the toilet seat up. I'm leaving because I'm not doing that because they love to not do this, especially when
they love what they not doing.
All the women, they're not doing this and that. And so I think that there's so much of that where y'all don't have the stomach for a real life relationship because you're looking for this Hollywood fairy tale that doesn't exist. These perfect people that are characters in a movie. Like these people don't exist, especially these men they're all 6'6" and they all make six figures and they don't have no kids and no baby mamas and no drama and they're all psychologically and emotionally available.
Please.
These men don't exist. I don't know who the hell y'all looking for.
Never met
It's
them.
a Disney character.
Never met them.
It's a movie. You know what I mean? So I just think that we need more realistic examples of relationship. That's why I like so much when Michelle said, "Who told y'all that y'all could just have everything?"
Who said that?
I'm so glad
I say it all the time now. Who told y'all this? But name somebody who got it.
I don't know. I really couldn't tell you, and I'm glad that she specifically said that because they are couples goals, but they're very transparent. Yeah, they're very like we had 3-4 bad years or whatever. You know what I mean?
She said 7.
That's what it started. 7. Y'all wouldn't make it 7 days. Y'all don't have the stomach for 7 days. And this is not like hyperbole. Like we've talked to dating couples, and they're like, "Oh well, day 4, he ain't text me back. I'm okay, girl." You know what I mean?
I mean, but he should be texting every day.
No. I mean, like, an hour went by. Like, I've had a conversation with a single friend of ours who was like, yeah, like, they were super responsive. And I said, well, how long has it been? Oh, it was like a couple hours. Girl, you don't want this. Y'all don't have the stomach for this.
But let me say this, though. I'm like that, too.
No, you aren't.
First of all, yes, I am.
No, you aren't. You're not.
How you know?
Because I've lived life with you since I was 16. Like, you're not a fleeting dater. Oh, you did something wrong today. I'm done with you forever.
Oh, no.
That's the.
I mean, you got to blow my line.
That's the culture that we're in, but it don't take nothing today. We've had conversations with these friends.
Yeah.
It don't take nothing for them to be like, oh, you know what I mean? Very different, ironically, from the friends that twist themselves into a pretzel over people who they should be cutting off, but because they're physically attracted to them, don't.
But both of them, I think, don't want to be in love.
True. Agreed.
Both of them, I think, is something different that they're searching for.
Agreed.
And I think it might be that the companionship being eaten up by the outside world. Like, oh, look, I got a man.
Agreed.
I don't think that you actually want a man. I think that, just by the way you moving, that love ain't what you want.
Yeah, agree. And it's like there's definitely two sides to it. And I think that ultimately my sticking point is always you need to have the stomach for this if you really want it. Like this is not a movie. Like it's not gonna always just be, we just the only thing we argue over is what we want for dinner. Like that's not real life, y'all. And especially these times where we just had a conversation with a couple who I literally had to tell one half of the couple, this ain't big enough to even interview to consider the D word. Yeah. Like I literally had to, and they're a younger couple, but even still, it was like a thing where I had to tell them like, y'all, you gonna go through things in life that's worse than this. You shouldn't even be entertaining divorce over this. You know what I mean? You just shouldn't. You know what I mean? And I mean that in such sincerity, like not to, I think one half of the couple took it as I was
diminishing, right?
And I'm just married. I'm not I'm just telling you, life is going to life, and you need to buckle up. You know, when somebody get locked down on the court and they do this, like this, what you need to be doing. You have an argument, strap in. Like this is not. A lot of times, especially in today's time, these things don't be big enough for the reaction that it begets in today's culture, because we such a shallow water culture.
Yes, we are. And I couldn't agree more. Talking about unicorns and having like the perfect spouse, let's get into Ikechi and MM again. MM sits down with Ikechi's mom and his friends, and his mom asked him, well, what did you learn about him? And I was sitting there thinking, Neil, Mom, you ain't come here with better questions. Mom.
But I would rather that than what are your intentions?
I think they tell them to ask.
They give them like a little.
I think they do, because if I'm meeting somebody for the first time, I just want to get to know them. And I think a lot of people do.
I don't.
Oh.
I think more often than not, people do this bullshit that we see. Without the producers giving them a note and asking them to do it. I think more often than not, people don't know how to just talk to people. And I think you're one of the more personal sides of the diaspora. Like, I think you just know how to talk to people, whether you're actually trying to get to know them or not. We could be in an elevator and Zar's just talking to somebody, and I'm like, I just want to get out the elevator.
That is not true.
It is true. It just happened. It just happened to us in Atlanta.
I was talking to somebody.
Yes, she was. Here's the thing. We are both like typically personal people, but when I'll
pick up the
when
slack.
I'm in a working space, and then I'm a Pisces, so that's one thing I'm gonna give to. Like when my social battery is done, and I'm in a private space where it's just me and my wife, or we're on our way out of something, I can almost shut down. Like I don't have words, and I could have talked all day long. Part of the reason is probably because I was talking all day long. So I'm in the elevator, like ready to not talk anymore. Like just in life, you know what I mean? Just because I was just drained. I had walked. It was a festival. I had been walking all day. It was hot. I've been talking to people literally all day. Yeah. Zara like, hey, and I'm like, girl, stop entertaining these people, because these people will talk back. They'll talk back, right? And so I think that I
don't even remember. I'm sitting here searching for it.
It happened.
I must have been like, woof, going.
No.
Four sheets to the wind. Ain't they?
Well, you wasn't. No, you wasn't. Not that day. But I think it's just a thing where you had a much casual day. So
I'm a housewife. My day is a little bit more casual.
But it was like, you know what I mean? Like you could kind of give that energy. And I think that that's just more of your personality, where you can engage even if you're not intentionally trying to get to know the person. I don't feel like most people actually do that, even when their mission is to get to know their brother-in-law or their sister-in-law. Most people don't know what to say.
Yeah, I think his mom just didn't know what to say. But his mom was cute. What they did, very cute lady. Yeah. What they did mention was that he is looking for somebody very special, a unicorn. And MM asked him, is it a unicorn or is it perfection? And he said, I am looking for I'm not everybody's cup of tea. You know what I mean? But I'm somebody's crown royal on ice.
Which was
a bar. Okay. Yeah. That was a bar. Baby.
Put on a t-shirt.
I think that's a lot of people's issue, that they're looking for something.
I thought MM's question was a perfect question, right?
I did too.
Because you do want to look for somebody who is uniquely for you. So point for Akechi, right? I don't need all the fish in the sea. I need my fish in the sea, right? But you don't want somebody who's looking for perfection, because that does not exist, right? So I thought it was such a good question, because you need to clarify that. Like, if you're looking for perfection, then I'm worried. But if you just mean what he clarified and said, I'm really just looking for somebody for me. That was the whole.
But But the problem is that although it was a bar, EKG.
Well, that's the thing.
It really didn't answer the question.
I thought it answered the question because that was the whole premise of the I'm not everybody's tea, but I'm for somebody, and I'm looking for that somebody, because the truth of the matter is that's what you should be looking for. You should be looking for your person. We're not telling you to just accept any old thing, right? We just telling you pay attention to what's for you. We have a friend of ours who we feel like had somebody for them, but they are looking for a unicorn. This is why this lines up so perfectly with this, right? Because my advice to that person is never like, just accept anything. Like, just sit down and be with somebody. My advice was, I've seen you with this person. I think this person is for you. I think you're looking for a unicorn. And that's the difference. Like, we should be looking for people that are for us, because I feel like my wife is uniquely made for me.
I don't think that person is looking for a unicorn. I think that person is looking for what everybody else would like. And I think that to be looking for a unicorn, she would be a step further in the process. And I mean that with all due respect. I think that when you're looking to feed the insatiable appetite of others, you'll never fill them up. But if you find a way to get to know who you are, okay, you'll know how to find something that will literally pour into you and have you thriving. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think that to want to look for a unicorn says to me that you are looking for something to serve you. When you're constantly in the service of others, you will constantly be in the service of others, and you'll never find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying I think the unicorn thing is a path that, although I think it's on the other side of the gradient. Like, I think it's on the other side of the spectrum. And I think that although I didn't feel like he answered the question. He did not answer the question. But I think what MM was asking was something more. She didn't ask a more pointed question, but I think she wanted a more pointed answer. Like, it's not that I'm looking for somebody perfect. It's that I'm a musician and I need somebody who understands that, it's going to be late nights.
I felt like that's
I'm an educator. I need somebody to understand that I give a lot to other people. So I need, that's what I got from
his answer, but that might be because I was hearing it from a place of understanding.
Yes.
Like, oh, I get this. You know what I mean?
But she don't know him.
Even though he didn't, and maybe they went into detail off camera.
Right. So that's no dig.
But
right.
That's what I heard. It's funny because that's what I heard. I heard I'm looking for somebody for me and my lifestyle and blah, 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 blah.
But as a woman who actually dates men, right, I know that you have to listen to the things they say out their mouth.
Oh, right.
And what they don't say is being said as well.
Yeah, yeah.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean? And I feel like that was his opportunity to because I think this kind of lends back to, am I your type? I think we go back there because she really didn't get an answer for that either. She got an answer to me, but the truth of the matter is that really wasn't the answer.
Well, I don't think am I your type was an answer at all.
That's what I'm saying, right?
I think this was much more of an answer than that, though. I think it was a bar. I think not as detailed as we would have liked, but I think compared to am I your type, it was much more of an answer. And not am I your type was an evasion to me. Like,
yes, but this was him trying to.
I don't feel like he invaded.
He was trying to relax her. Like, don't you worry about whether or not you need to be perfect or not.
And that to me is much more of, that's why I took it as like, that's because when I heard that, it's funny because when she asked the question, that's what I was thinking. Like, so are you looking for perfection? Or are you just looking for your person?
But I still don't believe we have an idea of what he is actually looking for. We still don't know. And that's what I'm saying is like, we're not having like real conversations.
I don't think that they went into, at least on camera, I don't think that they went into depth on it. But I think he got from it, because this is what I got from it, that I want to qualm her concerns about me looking for perfection. And I think that's what he was trying to do. And I got from her that he did that.
I think that's what he was trying to do. But I also think for his family to even bring that up is fascinating. I'll say that. Okay. Ikechi sits down with MM's friend, whose name it came up on the thing, girlfriend, but you could be my girlfriend. I like this girl a lot. This is the one that she was there when she originally got engaged.
I know who you're talking about.
Love her. Because I've been talking about her for I'm like, I love this girl. I don't know what it is. Something about her seems really like, you ever meet somebody like who pierced their lips like,
Yeah, she looks real Philly. Like, she looked familiar. I think that's why.
Oh, maybe that's it. Like, she just seemed like she would be my girlfriend, MM.
Yeah, that's
yeah, she seems like she'd be my girlfriend. But she and her husband sat down with Ikechi, and guess what we need? More of that.
1,000% full stop. I think these couples, these singles, especially once they are now married, should have way more conversation with other married couples. All this advice that y'all getting from these single friends, Michelle, one of them. I mean, all this talking to these single people is just, it's nauseating.
It's nauseating, and it's just not.
It's a terrible idea.
It's a terrible idea. And that's not to say that. Nobody. I think that people who have been in partnership with someone obviously has something to lend to the conversation. I think that we are in an era where there's a large population of people who are single and have been single for a long time, and they could say they was in a relationship with somebody. They was in a relationship, but that person was single.
Did they know? Did they know y'all was in a relationship?
But the other person was single. Okay, if you're picking up what I put down. And I think that that's why you got to like take these things with a grain of salt. But the reason why I liked her friend's conversation with Ikechi is because it was from a space of really wanting to get to know him. She said, we wake up married every day. How did you feel waking up today?
But that was
a question.
But that's what I mean about asking questions that just help people reveal who you are as a person, and less of these bull crap, like just lame ass one-liners that you saw on another reality show.
Right.
Like, I appreciated that, and that's what I mean. That's something that somebody who is a married person to me would ask. Inquisitive questions, leading questions, like, oh, you can expound on that, not these yes or no, answers and things like that. So I really appreciated that, and I just think we need more of it.
I agree. And it was really, really refreshing to see like the questions that they asked, and also the grace that they held for him. Like, okay, like you didn't, go through with your engagement. Stuff happens. Life happens. We cheat. We get upset. We have anger. Like, she understood the full scope of what a relationship is, her and her husband. And I felt like they were able to hold space for Ikechi to be himself so that they could get to know him a little bit better.
Because that, to me, is coming from a place of having the stomach to do a relationship. When you go and you ask your single, jaded friends for advice, it's just the blind leading the blind. A lot of times, their first remark is, well, you should leave. You're never going to build anything where at the first sign of an obstacle, you quit it. It's just nothing great was built that way in life.
Nothing.
Like, not a business, not a building, not Legos, like nothing.
But also, we're all living the human experience, right? So the idea that somebody's heart gets broken or you broke someone's heart, that's not a testament to who you are.
Right.
That's just us having a human experience right now. You know what I mean? Not to say if you like a serial cheater, I'm not going to that far. I'm just saying, like, in real life, we're all going through stuff and we're all living this life and really trying to serve and water us. And sometimes watering me provides you with a drought. You know what I mean? And I think that we are so misaligned, so big. But this is what I mean when you're trying to feed others. When you only think about how other people are going to eat up every action that you have, you'll never feed yourself.
Right.
You'll constantly be in a drought. And sometimes it requires that you, shut the hose off on another mother jumper.
Right.
Sorry, it hurt your feelings. I don't know what to tell you, but I got to eat. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think that we so often get caught up in, oh, that was bad. Everything is just so simply bad or good. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's like, but that's the single thing too, where everything is black or white.
Yes, it's
all right,
not.
You know what? He did something to violate your trust. Leave. No, that's not. But that's why I just want y'all to stop, like, needing an oil change and going to the man who sells fruit. You know what I mean? Like, stop being in a relationship and then getting advice from your single friends, and then they got you all out here with them, and you trying to be home for real. You know what I mean? I think that it's just very important to talk to people who have been where you're trying to go. And that's really what this is. This is less about like single people versus married people or anything like that.
Very much less.
Talk to people who have been where you're trying to go. If your goal is to be an esthetician, you would never go ask an architect how to get there. That's all I'm saying.
So moving on, they go on the honeymoon. They're in Mexico. And one of the things that stood out for me is that KT doesn't eat meat. But MM...
Oh, at all? Did I know that?
Well, it says here he doesn't even eat meat. But she says she loves liver and gizzards. By the way, boo, so do I. I love me some liver. But
she also wants chitlins, and you ain't messing with no chitlins.
I would never... First of all, I don't eat pork.
Okay.
I don't.
Sure.
First of all, this is funny because Joe grew up in a household where he ate pork. Yes. Pork. But at my house, he was never getting pork.
No, I wasn't. And it made me love beef pepperoni.
He learned all the alternatives. We were still able to eat pepperoni pizza and do all the things, and bacon, beef bacon. You learn about beef bacon at my house.
Let me tell you, to this day, I am like full stop. I need it to be like, I need the beef. I need the beef pepperoni. I need all of that. I actually prefer it, if we're being honest.
Right. So I do think that at first I thought, how he eats is going to be a problem, because if you're cooking like I cook, so Joe just eat what I cook. That's the truth. So he doesn't eat like the pork chops and stuff like that because I don't cook that. But I wonder in these kind of scenarios where somebody has a stricter diet, how that works.
I mean, it has to be difficult. It got to be like...
And you don't, but you're the person who cooks.
Yes.
Who's to say she cooks, though? I don't know that yet, though.
She don't give me that she do cook. I'm going to be honest. So that might not be the issue.
But why? What about her don't get it?
It's a vibe. You know what I mean? Some women give off that they have a much more stronger Susie Homemaker muscle than others. She's one of those who seems like she doesn't really know her way around the kitchen. You know what I mean? I mean, look at her. She's a skeleton. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm judging off of. I mean, for real.
That was not.
Camille got potato salad. Camille can make a good potato salad. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. Like,
Joe, stop.
Now, tell me you don't. Tell me you disagree. Okay,
so
exactly.
Let me ask you this.
Exactly.
What do I give? Because I look like I can make a mean potato salad. I can though.
No, it's so funny. Like, and maybe it's because of the household that I was in, that you grew up in. You always gave that you could run a home to me. You know what I mean? And that was when we was outside.
Like I was living on my own or some shit.
Huh?
Women know what you mean.
I mean, because your mother is such a caregiver.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, even if she wasn't like the most like
nice,
emotional, like, emotionally available person, she was always like, "You want something to eat?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I think I got that. You know what I mean? If your mother wasn't there, it was your sister. You know what I mean? So I think that's what I mean. Like, I always got that you could do that, especially in a lineage of cooking women. You know what I mean? Your mom could cook, your grandma could cook. She was cooking from scratch and all that.
Yeah.
So I always got that. I just don't get that from MM. You know what I mean? It's not a knock. Some people have that vibe where it's like, oh, you cooking it down, ain't you? And some people like you, I wouldn't trust her to make toast. You know what I mean? It's not a knock. It's just like a vibe.
She just seems busy to me. And that's not like I think she's just successful. And I think, wow.
You could be successful and cook it down, though.
She didn't have anything in her refrigerator.
That's what
either.
I'm saying. That's what I mean. And I didn't even think about that when I said
she didn't have anything in her refrigerator.
When I said this, I wasn't even thinking about their home visits.
Yeah.
I just was going off of the vibe. She just gives me the vibe that she's not a cooker. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm a baker now, y'all.
And
I'm baking pound cakes, red velvet cakes.
Yeah, and she's a cooker. And I think that we can't.
I stepped my cookies up.
We have to tear down this notion that, like, if you're a career woman, you ain't cooking it down. And my wife has always been a career woman and has always cooked it down. You know what I mean?
That's true.
To the floor. You know what I mean? And her sisters are the same way. So I don't like that. Like, oh, well, she busy or she got to work. No, I know plenty of women who work. They busy. They got degrees. They very successful, and they burning the kitchen down. You know what I mean?
But I think so. For me, cooking is a love language. So I don't even like when you like other people's food. Like, I don't know what is wrong with me. Like, I will literally come home and say, I bet you I make it better.
No, she will.
I literally will. I don't know why. Like, I gotta like say, but it's just a thing. But I come from a long lineage of healers through food and herbs, so I think that has a lot to do with it. But she loved liver and gizzards, and so do I.
And chitlins.
I do not. I've never even had chitlins, chitterlings.
But she don't never had it. Y'all,
I've never had it.
They make chitlins.
They do.
We at her uncle's house, they make chitlins, right? So I'm like, I've never had it before. I'm like, I want to try it.
They make all of it. Pig's
like,
feet,
oh, it's so nasty, blah, blah,
chicken
blah.
foot.
I'm like, have you ever had it? No. You don't know what the goddamn chitlins taste like. How you don't like the chitlins?
Let me tell y'all a true story.
I try to give it, like, take a piece, taste it. I just wanted to taste it. I didn't like it, really, for real. But I had to taste it because I'm also a foodie.
Yuck. Let me tell y'all a true story. First of all, this episode is going to be longer than the actual episode because we just vibing. Me and Joe didn't really talk all day, to be honest.
Nothing happened in the episode.
Nothing happened in the episode, so you're welcome for entertaining you. Okay. But when I was younger, my grandmother was in the house cooking chitlins. The smell got so bad. Mind you, at this time, my mother it's all of us in the house. My grandma, my mom, I think my uncle was living in the basement. Like, it was just like all of us in the house. My dad lives on the other, like, up the street. You remember where my dad lived? We could walk to my dad's house. And my parents are separated, okay? My mom calls my dad, Mabel in here cooking chitlins. We on our way. We all went and spent the night at my dad's house.
That's hilarious.
Because we could not do it. Like, the smell was unbearable. Like, and I've never, since that day, that just is not my thing.
I'm not going to lie. They made it at Thanksgiving, maybe last year. The smell wasn't that bad.
No, because they cleaned them somewhere else. When you're cleaning them, it is like, so KG is right.
At all, y'all.
Oh my God. Good night.
How the hell did I know?
Disgusting.
They were doing everything. Somebody was cooking something or prepping all day, every day leading up to Thanksgiving. So how would I know that they weren't making, you know what I mean?
No, be for real though, y'all. Y'all eating chitterlings? Are y'all eating any KG's wheats? Are you eating chitterlings?
Let us know. Also, have we heard from Miss Deborah in a while?
Who was Miss Deborah?
Miss Deborah used to be in the comments every week. I just thought,
oh my God, are you okay?
Where is Miss Deborah at, yo? She's she would write these along. Sometimes it'd take me a minute to read. I don't know.
But she would give us more insight. Like, she'll bring
she would be dropping
around.
nuggets. But I just saw her had a random, like, when you was asking people to comment. I'm like, have we heard of Miss Deborah?
First of all, we have not. So
somebody
I'm a little bit worried.
Yeah,
we want to go back and find a comment and comment to her. Like, girl, you okay? Check in.
Yes.
We looking for you. We
pay attention to y'all.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Also, if you're armchair psychologist, what is your name? I need to know. Like, I need to know your name because I feel like we friends, and I feel like you be commenting like we friends, and I feel like I need to know that. Like, are we friends?
Right.
You know what I mean? So let's move on to the women. So we're talking about Madison and Alan as well as Michelle and David. Okay. Now, who do you want to start with? I think we start with Madison and Alan, right? So there's the reason why I wanted to save this particular demographic for last is because something is afoot.
There's a running theme.
There is a theme, Joe. I don't know if I'm hyper aware of how women are treating men because of Love is Blind, but the way that and this is not a dig on white people, but the way that white women are showing up recently has been really mean to me.
I mean,
it feels like violent.
I don't think that there's any other way to interpret it. You know, if you're watching the shows that we're watching and you're seeing how these people are showing up and they acting in their relationships, that's the takeaway.
Okay, so Alan meets Madison's dad, and he asked him, did he get tested? Now,
highly inappropriate. I'd have walked out.
You thought that was inappropriate? I thought
highly my sexual health record. First of all, what's the term that the legal term that actually protects your actual
HIPAA.
This is already against HIPAA laws off the rip. You know what I mean? But then you asking for the sexual part of it? Are you crazy? And I'm a grown man who you don't know. I would have walked off so fast.
I just felt like, what are you saying about your daughter that I need to be tested?
You're saying you don't know your daughter because
she kissing people in the mouth. It's not even up for debate. She absolutely, and I'm telling y'all, I'm clocking it 100% right now. She is going to the bars, being there from 12 noon until 8 p.m. She's doing her push-ups in the middle and kissing these men in the mouth.
This is the same girl who told the story about how she got kicked out of Oktoberfest.
How you do that?
Oktoberfest? It's a fest for drinking. I just don't. But this is why I just don't like this. I never love when the parent come in and act like the baby is a flawless superstar. You know what I mean? They ain't never, did anything.
But I also feel like that's a lack of getting to know him.
It's so tone deaf.
Mm-hmm.
It's so disrespectful. And there's so many more things that you should be trying to get to know about this man rather than what his sexual healthcare record shows.
1,000%. And Alan asks a question which to me says he's a bit insecure. He asked them, would I have a chance with her on the street?
I didn't like that. First of all, kudos to Alan for even handling this line of questioning the way he did.
Well, he asked that question.
No, I'm saying prior to that, he was still there because the dad asked.
Oh, yes.
Because I'd have been gone already. So kudos to him for even handling the question, because it even went further where he said, oh, yeah, I just got tested recently, blah, 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 not like it's any of your goddamn business. But, yeah, I just got tested. And then the dad said, oh, okay, well, Matt, we still need to see those results.
What?
You got to be playing with me, bro. But so kudos for Alan for even still being in the seat at this point. But then he asked the question about, well, would I have a chance on the street? Which it did show a bit of insecurity, which I didn't. I don't even not even for the insecure part, but just like, don't even show these mother jumpers your cards like that, even if that's what you're thinking, because then that opened the door for the sister to walk through and really be like, oh, absolutely not.
And then say, I was worried.
So uncalled for.
I thought that was
also disrespectful.
I think, and I've said this before, okay? You can tell the truth and not be cruel.
Right.
Y'all are under the idea that if I'm telling the truth, it is cruel.
Right.
But you know what I'm lending this to? The great musician, entertainer, philosopher Patti LuPone once said, whoever was in charge of making Americans stupid has done a fantastic job. Mm-hmm. Because y'all don't have the words to have conversations with other humans. See, because you think because you have blonde hair and blue eyes, you're the standard of beauty.
Right.
You ugly to somebody.
Right.
And you wouldn't want anybody to speak to you that way.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Or say you got potato salad arms or whatever the case may be, right? I think that it was so mean. Like, I don't understand why people think they have to talk to people that way. Because you could have said, you know what, we've seen her with different people, but that type, the truth of the matter is, if that type it's nothing to be worried about because that type obviously don't want her back. How about that?
The question is, what kind of woman was she who asked the question? That's what we talking about. Like, this is the entitlement. This is the privilege that I can talk to anybody any type of way, and they better not dare give it back to me because now I'm Karen and I'm crying about it to the police.
But y'all also burying the lead. If she was such a goddamn catch on the open market,
she wouldn't be here.
She would not be on the open market.
Oh, absolutely not. You would have no chance.
But y'all misconstrue somebody wanting to be in between your legs with somebody who wants to know you and love you.
Right.
See, y'all have aligned who wants to sleep with you with your value. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because then you turn around and think you could be in conversations like this as if Alan and Madison right now are on the same exact level because they both signed up to marry a stranger.
And they're married to each other. So what'd that say?
Because if you got it going on like that, sis, why you couldn't pick one yourself?
Right.
Or why they ain't pick you since you dating the baddies?
It just
because they don't want you back.
It just was the level of entitlement to think that I could speak to another human being this way.
It bothers me to my core.
Somebody who I don't even know. I don't even know this person.
And what y'all going to stop doing is making me cape for white men. Y'all going to stop that. The way that I be coming on here caping for these men because y'all are mean and nasty
and just,
is just wild to me.
For no reason, though. This man ain't do nothing.
It's so unwarranted.
I mean, the energy is not being returned at all. Alan is the most, just pliable person, on the cast. I mean, he's just he's very much so the White Thomas. I'm just Alan.
I think so too.
I'm here and I'm
going to see it through.
Happy to be here and I'm going to see it through and you oh, she would never date you outside in the street, never. You would never have a chance because she dates pretty boys, people who look better than you. What the hell?
And he should have sat there and humbled everybody. How's that worked out for her?
Right.
How was that work?
It just was unnecessary.
It was completely unnecessary, but she takes it a step further. So there's that. Madison literally woke up and I think realized she took off her drunk glasses and said, "Oh no, I hate this. I went out."
Yeah,
the shift is so, to me, apparent.
She did a 180, and if y'all remember in the last video, I kept saying, I think she's drunk. She looked like she was having a good time, and she was touching him, and she was
kissing him in the mouth.
She was kissing him in the mouth, and she was so personable, and she was drunk to me. She just was drunk, and I just felt like you said, she woke up, she was sober, and all of a sudden now everything was so hard, and she had so many questions, and it was just everything was happening so fast. It wasn't happening that fast last night when he was kissing.
I don't even understand. They meet up. Madison in turn meets with his mom and friends. His mother is a little over the top. I love a woman who love their son. Do not get me wrong. But this is why I want girls. I'm not trying to be crying about no little boy like that.
No, she was over it. She was, but was she over the top? You will. If you have a little boy, you will.
I said the cat. Get rid of him. He ain't straight. Listen,
Mark this video.
For real, right? But in real life, I felt like, Mom.
You know what it was too? She's met Madison, and she's also met Alan, and she knows that she raised a good son. So the emotions.
Oh, she might be nervous. She knew something we didn't know. I said that when we were watching it.
1,000%.
I said she knows something. She
got the vibe, and she. I think she immediately thought, "Oh, this woman is about to eat my son alive," and I think it was.
He never gonna be the same.
Too much for him. Yeah.
Cause she was crying, and some people do know. They can meet you and know.
Yeah,
it's a no
because they might not know you fully, but they know their relative.
Yes.
So she knows Alan ain't probably got what it take to be with this Madison just because of her, how do I say this nicely? Disposition. You know what I mean? She seems like she can be the B word a lot. You know what I mean? And I think that the mom picked up on that and was just like, please don't hurt my son.
This is my thing. I think I don't like the being the B word because I think it's reductive. I think that the mom might have picked up one that she's not willing to try. She already is kind of setting up. Well, we don't know. We only have 8 weeks. She's already setting it up, right?
That's what I mean.
I think that, but I'm saying I don't want to reduce it to BITCH because I feel like that's reductive when we can say exactly what it is. You really don't want to try. Yeah, you're not into this process.
I think overall, that's what it is. I think that's what the mom picked up, because I don't think that Alan has had many girls that he's met out in the real world that you can call that. So I think the mom met her and felt, she one of them, he's not going to make it.
Okay. So I also felt like she kept setting them up like, well, we don't know each other. And it's like, girl, we know y'all don't know each other.
Setting up her
but
out.
You signed up for this goddamn
This was
process.
sober her the next morning, setting up her excuses.
And it was not up for debate. They meet up at Kitchen and Cocktails, which I know that raggedy ass restaurant, okay, in Chicago. Me and my girlfriends got put out. We talking about engineers, principals, motherfucking directors of whole goddamn. They put us out because we was having a good time with another group of women we did not know, the K's and the Deltas. We was having us a time, and I just was like, really. They put us out because we was having too much fun. We wanted to dance and sing, and they was like, we not that kind of establishment, but we playing Megan Thee Stallion on level 60.
That feels racial to me.
It was racial. They was in a white neighborhood. It's a black-owned establishment, and they didn't want us to be blackity black. They wanted us to act like we had some sense. But the energy of the... Have y'all been to Kitchen and Cocktails? Let me know I'm not going crazy. But the food was good, though. Y'all ain't going to lie. So, I'm not going to lie. I love the food and I love the drink. Now... They sit down, Madison and Alan asks her if I'm your type, which I don't know why he's a masochist. You already know you ain't her motherfucking type.
Yeah, I think that's just his personality. And it just is a little frustrating because I just want him, comport yourself. You know what I mean? You ain't got to genuflect at this woman's altar or her family or anybody else.
And that's, come on. You don't even know this. But if you thought you was a bad bitch, everybody else was. That's what y'all don't get. When I say you got to pour into you, I mean, when I tell y'all I have the energy of somebody who could bag Barack Obama, not because I want to go out and bag Barack Obama, but I really do believe in me.
And people, you know, and I think the truth of the matter is people pick up on the energy that you carry, right?
1,000%.
They treat you that way. I always tell Zar, if you walk like you know where you're going, people won't stop you, right?
But I still get anxiety about it.
It's terrible. I can't even bring her.
But I've been getting better.
She has been getting better. But I just think that the same saying applies here. Like, if you comport yourself, man, she will treat you. It don't really matter what you look like. I've been to the South. I've seen these men looking like, you know what I mean, Shrek with the baddest with a 10 and the side. You know what I mean?
I'm not gonna lie.
I've seen it.
I have seen it.
So I know it's a thing. You know what I mean? I know.
But that's how I know. That's how I know. A lot of y'all don't know what it's like to serve yourself. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because I know a woman right now. Okay. And he is like. He 100 years old. She a young tenderoni. I'm not lying. I know somebody right now. He done bought this girl all types of establishments, fixed up her house, did all these things. She love that man down to the socks. Okay, y'all. If you really carry yourself a certain way, you'll be that certain way. That's what I'm telling y'all, men out there. If y'all listening and you ugly, no, I'm keeping it 100. If you ugly and you out there, you gotta break bread. It's just. Some of us got looks and some of us got...
I'm not even saying that. I'm saying...
No, I'm saying as a woman, you got to break bread.
But I'm not saying that. I'm saying comport yourself. Because if you walking with the right energy, you don't have to do a goddamn thing.
But that sounds very brokey.
But it's not. No.
It's giving brokey.
But it's not. It's not even in the same realm as my point. My point is this has nothing to even do with like your financial standing.
But I'm saying sometimes...
I'm saying like... If you move with the energy, like you know who you are and you're sure of yourself, you don't have to genuflect at anybody's altar. Period.
Well, you just better genuflect at mine, whatever that means. I don't even know what that word means. But you better get on your knees and pray to me. The same way you get on your knees and pray to Jesus Christ, you better be getting on your knees and say, Eleanor,
Jesus Christ has abandoned me, so I haven't.
Don't say that. They go to Mexico with everyone else, and they it's very clear that they're reserved. And that's primarily because by this time, Alan's been called ugly at least 15 times. The woman told him that she like men who clean shaven. But the problem is that your type does not matter here.
It doesn't.
Because you did not pick your spouse.
And also, you're married. Why are we even talking about this? We're married. You're not like about to be with another person. Like you're not about to go to the resort. What's the little thing where they take a break and they go to the other house on Love Island? Like you ain't about to go
Casa
there.
Amor.
You ain't about to go to Casa Amor. Like, no, you're married.
That's hilarious.
You're actually married. So it doesn't matter what your type is, or they're not about to bring in no bombshells and he about to maybe be your type. You're married. I don't understand why we even talking about this.
But that's also a thing that women do. Women don't want you to be yourself. They want to date themselves.
Yeah.
I'm this. If you ever hear why a woman don't got a man, it's because I'm this and I'm that and I'm this. It's never like, it's like, okay.
It
like,
is.
You know what I mean? When in truth, I tell people all the time, not that my husband has a dead body. He doesn't, right? But I feel like I feel like dad bods are acceptable. And somebody was like, no, I need them to be chiseled and everything like that. I said, you want to know why I don't want that? Is because he has an expectation of how he wants to live, and he's going to impose that on me. Now, my body got to be, I don't fucking feel like a bitch. I like eating cakes and fucking cookies. I don't want to be chiseled like that. You know what I mean? And I think that we kind of always are imposing how we want to be on other people because we think that's perfection, because we've kind of worked on it for however many years we've been ourselves.
Yeah.
But in truth, there's a perfection in allowing other people to be themselves.
Yeah.
You body shaming him. You need to go to the gym. You need to do this. You need to do that. If that's something he desires to do, then do that. But what y'all don't realize is that the moment y'all start saying that to somebody, especially a man, you done opened up the floodgates. Because the moment you get a little turkey, little something on the arm, oh, what's happening here?
Yeah.
Then he doing all this. People take stock. People remember everything you say out your goddamn mouth.
And that's not even his person. That's not even his vibe.
It's not.
So I think this goes really hand in hand with the theme that's been happening too on some of these other shows.
Also, he's not a man who is like out of shape.
Right. But this goes hand in hand on some of the themes that we've been seeing on these other shows too, where like there's such a lack of keep the same energy. Like if this man came into this process and told you, you know what, I need you to do this and I need you to fix
I like thinner women.
Y'all would be.
Y'all called a man a derogatory term and covered it up because he told the woman, I typically like thinner women.
Literally.
Y'all remember that?
I remember it another season ago.
Exactly.
So it had
and so she called him a derogatory term.
Right. So had Alan come in and start telling her the things that she needed to change about her body.
Like
y'all
what?
Y'all would be eating him up. I just want y'all to keep the same energy.
I find
if it's not acceptable for him to do it, it's not. Why is it acceptable for her to be like, oh, well, take your shirt, burn the fucking flamingos. You need to be in the gym 5 times a week like I am.
It's just like y'all lack finesse. I've been changing men since 86. Do you know how easy that shit is? You just got to have some finesse. But it's like, I don't know if y'all mamas don't teach y'all that. My mom used to be the art of like, oh, no, honey, we not doing that. We going to do a little. And if you ever met my mother, she's not the most finessing kind of human.
Not at all.
But I learned a lot of that from her. You know what I mean? Like, you ain't got to be nasty to no man to get him to do what you want him to do.
Nah. And in fact, you get more bees with honey.
So there's that on that. Now he asked her did he have to walk on eggshells. She told him no, but the truth is it don't matter if it's eggshells, cockle shells, seashells. She don't like you.
Yeah,
and that's it. That's
she's
all.
lying. She's lying. She's creating an environment where he does have to walk on eggshells.
And why are you trying to play us like we stupid?
Yeah, because the cameras are rolling and she thinks we are stupid. Because the truth of the matter is that there's a reason why he doesn't know whether or not he can hold her hand. Or whether or not he can be close to her. Or whether or not he can put his hands on her.
24 hours.
There's a reason.
After you were kissing this man in the mouth.
Yeah.
You did something that made him feel like, oh.
I can't do that.
I can't touch you?
And most respectable men don't want to feel like a creep.
And
so he's like, I don't know what to do here.
In full transparency, Joe and I had this conversation in therapy.
Yeah.
That was a big conversation. Like, I don't want to be feeling like a creep.
No, you want to feel as a man, especially in a relationship, you want to feel like the desire is reciprocated.
Yeah.
You want to feel like you ain't got to chase me, but I need to know that the door is open, that I'm not banging down the door like a creep. You know what I mean? And so you have that energy has to be returned, or it does cause this weird friction where you don't know what to do with your hands. Meaning, can I even place this hand on your knee? Like right. Alan is trying to figure out. And so for her,
which means in 24 hours he touched you.
Yeah.
And you did something to make him. They literally just got married, y'all. Yeah. So at the point where he's asking you this question, it's because something happened.
Yeah.
That made him feel like, oh.
And then you try to play us on camera and go, of course you can hold my hand. Don't be silly. He's not being silly.
He's not being silly.
You did something that made him feel like he couldn't even hold your fucking hand.
One of the things that she's saying, and also Michelle is saying, is that this is a lot for her. She's going through a lot. And what bothered me about this statement is that you are in quite literally a marriage with somebody, and it absolutely negates the fact that person is also going through something. He also met somebody as a stranger at the goddamn altar.
Because how is it a lot for you and not a lot for them?
Hello? And in truth, y'all should be trauma bonded.
Yeah. To me, it's just an excuse. The same way that when every time Michelle says it, it's an excuse. Oh, and I think it's just setting up them making their case as to why they are dejected and not being a part of their relationship and not being nice to their spouse and not being.
Michelle's vile.
It's so much stuff that they're saying that they are dog whistles. Oh, this is just a lot for me. So I just need that's saying get off of me.
Yes.
Oh, it's a lot for everybody. Everybody married a stranger.
Literally. Michelle's being disgusting. And she is, we on day 2. I didn't even imagine. So one thing I'm going to give her grace, not even grace. I'm going to give her props for being consistent. Because the moment she said, I ain't fucking with this, she's consistently not been fucking with it.
No, she has.
And I don't know if we're going to get a turn here.
That's the only thing.
But I don't think we are.
It's just, I don't like the excuses, because the one thing we know about a woman is she ain't going to treat a man that she's attracted to the same way that she treats a man who she's not attracted to. The one thing, it's just not going to happen. So it's a lot because I'm not attracted to you. If you thought he was gorgeous, it would not be a lot. It just wouldn't. I've never heard Carla say it once. She in the same experiment. Carla's never said, you know what, guys? This is just a lot. You know what, Juan? Don't touch me. This is a lot.
But you know what that is also? Happened. Carla has a sense of groundedness that allows her to trust herself.
But Carla is also attracted to her spouse. Full stop.
I mean,
Juan
is fine.
I just think that we have to take people. We don't play us like we are dumb.
Literally, we live in a world too.
Would it be a lot, Madison, if you thought Alan was gorgeous? Let's just be honest. Or Michelle.
But the fact that your sister was stupid enough. Also, y'all be so busy showing y'all cards.
I know.
Y'all so busy trying to overproduce that y'all don't realize we see you.
I know.
Like it's like y'all trying to hold your cards close to your chest, but we right here. We can see the cards.
But not only that, this is your first time on Married at First Sight. This isn't our first time watching Married at First Sight. So we've seen these lame ass tactics for 18 seasons.
Come on, y'all. Stop playing with me.
It's been happening for a long time.
I'm quite literally a Married at First Sight expert.
Like, you're not going to get it over on us that somehow you're going to piss on our heads and tell us that it's raining, and we're never going to see through the fact that you're just not attracted to your spouse. So now you're setting up all of these barriers as to why you can't actually be an active part of this process.
And when I tell y'all, this is not, if y'all were just be in the process honestly,
yeah,
y'all would, even if good, bad, or indifferent, y'all would get so much more out of it and have so much more camaraderie, because there are so many people who move in life just like you.
Yes.
Like, completely. The problem is that in your because you are not a producer, in your ability to produce yourself in these moments, you're getting a bad edit.
Yeah.
And that's what we're not talking about.
We can see right through it.
We can see right through it. And let me tell you something. Michelle is crashing out, okay?
Very fast.
I mean, she is like, like, when she sat at the table with his mama for the second time, and all she wanted, we don't know nothing about David except for that he live at home and smokes a cigarette Newport 100s down to the filter.
Because that's all she wants to talk about. And she brings it up every 5 seconds, even though she'll start the conversation with, not to harp on this, but you are harping on it.
That's what harping is.
I asked you what you wanted for breakfast.
Not to harp on this, but I'm going to harp.
The day that y'all wake up in Mexico, that's what you want to talk about? Not like, what should we do today? But like icebreakers, get to know
when
him.
You're sitting at the table with his parents and his cousin, and we're talking about somebody you do not know. The only thing you want to talk about is that they already talked to you about it.
But not only that, this is irrelevant to this process because Lifetime got you an apartment. So guess where he lives now with you?
So they talk about their schedules. He has a morning schedule. He gets up, he goes to the gym, he eats breakfast. He's very disciplined in that manner. And
which also is a sign. No lazy person wakes up at 4 a.m. every day. I mean, full stop. Just full stop. So he tells you what his job is. He tells you he has 2 jobs.
Yeah.
And then he tells you what his schedule is. He used to be a bodybuilder.
Yes.
If you know anybody who actually used to train and do competition, every part of their life is regimented and disciplined. Mm-hmm. Every part of it. They have to eat the same thing every day. They have to work out on a crazy schedule 2 a days, 3 a days. Now that he's not doing that, he's telling you, my alarm is, you've experienced this. His alarm is going off at 4 o'clock in the morning because that's when he gets up for work.
Literally. And quite literally, the only thing not to like about David at this point is that man bun.
The bun is taking us out it's moving like a Ray J hat.
It's one of these. Sir, and I'm done with this. I'm done with that, with the flicking of the hair. See, that will burn me down to the socks, okay? But I could be able to go with you if I know your finances and I know, okay, if we had a plan, we could get somewhere. But I think that's different because I have an imagination. My life and my love life is a rom-com. I don't think that people have the imagination to be with other people.
No, they don't have the
love requires imagination. Yeah. So when I say that I don't think y'all want to be in love, I say that because y'all don't have any insight into your own future. So why would I think you would be able to develop something that would grow in that time? Right. I just don't see it for you. You know what I mean? And that's me being pessimistic. But it's also my truth. Like, I've been talking to y'all. Y'all not giving me no hope.
And that's where the pessimistic attitude is coming from because I feel the same way.
You know what I mean? So they sit down with Michelle sits down with his mother, his father, and his cousin. She asked them about the whole thing and, the living at home. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all like it? Mind you, these are the same exact questions she asked yesterday. The same exact questions.
And kudos to the sister for just being like, what?
When she asked her, are you even in this process 100%? I was wondering why Dr. Pepper, Pastor Cal, Dr. Pia didn't have those questions. Right. From the get-go. Right. Are you even in this 100% if you needed to look the way that you wanted to look?
Because guess what they did, speaking of Dr. Pepper and Pastor Cal and Dr. Pia? They took that out of the equation. You live together.
But they paired you knowing. So they had a conversation with her during the beginning. The matchmaking.
Yes, and they brought it up.
And she said, but this is why y'all be lying to yourselves. If you would have said that's a hard no, your fear was that you wouldn't get picked for the show. So you said, if he doesn't. Yeah. But you knew that wasn't your answer.
You knew that wasn't your answer, so you were deceiving. And
now you got played.
You played yourself.
Congratulations
because they absolutely asked you.
Yes, they did.
But not only that, at this point, the proof is in the pudding, because if you were actually a part of this process, this wouldn't even be a figment of your imagination because you guys now live together. So what his circumstance was before he was a part of this, he also was single. Now he's married.
But
everything has changed. He's now a married man. He's now married to you. He's legally married to you. And now you guys have a place where you're going to cohabitate. So now you live together. And if you've even just watched the show, you now know that the life that they had prior to this process is now over. Not only do they live together, but then they set you guys up and they talk to you about where you're going to live and how you're going to do when you leave the process. So not only that, but when he brought it up to you, he said, this is not something that I want to continue doing. I was a single man. So now I'm married. I don't plan on living in my mother's basement. He never asked you to move into the basement. So why are we still talking about this?
He didn't ask you to move into the basement.
I'm just so exhausted with her. And this is what we was talking about with Madison, where these women are just trying to set up their out.
Y'all think we stupid.
I just can't get around it. So now we have to keep talking.
But I can't get around it is why you've been single for 6 years. So you would have us believe that you made that choice. And that's another thing that I hear with women far too often. Because you know what I don't hear from men? Men always got options. Not even men always got options. I don't know a single man.
Yeah.
Like I actually single man. You know what I mean? But y'all single because y'all would have us believe that I made the choice to be single.
Yeah.
Okay, so then if you made the choice to leave that relationship, which I believe you did, sis, I'm going to go with you that way. Why are you single now?
Yeah.
Because you got it going on. Why you ain't got one there?
Yeah.
I mean that with all due respect. It's 50% of men and 50% of women on the earth. You could walk down the street and quite literally
yeah. Like... I mean
quite literally. So for me, it's just like the whole conversation is giving us more insight into how she is as a human.
Yeah.
And also how David is. David is being really patient.
I mean, I never seen nobody turn a cheek this much this soon.
And also come at you. But you know what, though?
And be patient with answering it. Because I would be like, I'm not answering this question no more. I didn't murder somebody.
But you know what,
though? She keep asking about it.
If we keeping it 1,000, he getting what he deserve. Because the truth of the matter is, if you met a woman who was from your culture and could understand how people live at home or whatever the case may be, you wouldn't be out here fighting for your life. But that's not what you wanted. You wanted somebody with blonde hair and blue eyes.
Yes.
And guess what they have? Different standards. And that's not a dig on Michelle. I think they do have different standards.
Yes. But my issue with it is...
It's a cultural thing.
My issue with it is after y'all talked about it once and twice, right?
I'm tired of hearing about it.
You had, like, this is now, we're beating a dead horse. Because he's answered these questions.
And we only on the third episode.
And that's what's crazy to me. He's answered these questions. He's been transparent about it. You've talked to his family about it. They told you, no, he ain't a bum. He works it out with us. He's taking care of us. All this other stuff. They tell you all of this information. So now you've got it from the horse's mouth and the stable. For you to continue to bash this man over the head with this is just nasty work, especially when he's not being defensive about it. He's not being rude to you about it.
No.
And now
this is getting what his hand called for.
This is not even a part of your life currently. That's what's even harder for me to get with you on. Like this, Dr. Pepper didn't say, you know what, you're gonna move into the basement now.
I don't get it. And I think it's more of a fear of being poor. I think that is so clear that she is a person who is so upset about where she comes from. Mm-hmm. I think that it's so fascinating. We talk about LA. I don't like LA we used to live in LA. One of the big things I didn't like about LA is that people come to LA to be who they think they want to be. Mm-hmm. Nobody's being themselves. Everybody's being this caricature of who they are. It's exhausting. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm a fashionista, or I'm a rapper, or I'm a this.
It's always five things.
It's always a thing, right? And for
five
me,
things or six things.
I like real human interaction. You know what I mean? So, like, I want to get to know you. You ain't got to know what me and my man got going on or whatever the case may be. But for them, it's like that garners you respect in some ways.
Yeah.
And I think that could be disingenuous because you could create who you want to be.
Right.
And I think that Michelle has created who she wants to be in Chicago. And it does not align with who she grew up to be. And he reminds her of small town life.
Yeah.
And I think that that's why it is so important that these people go to therapy, because that's unresolved.
And that don't have nothing to do with David. And also, you shouldn't have signed up for a show called Married at First Sight.
It has nothing to do with David. This is so deep. And the reason why I'm going this deep is because we've talked about this now on your wedding day.
Yes.
And the day after. We don't know nothing else about David.
Right.
How was he when he was a child? Right. How many relationships? We don't know if he had how many relationships he's had. We know nothing else about David. And it's quite literally because you don't care to get to know anything else about David.
No, you immediately drew the line at he lives in his parents' house. So
you drew the line, and you think you're going to put a wool over our eyes as if we haven't watched 18 seasons.
And I'm not going to lie, I would respect you more if you'd have just said, you know what, I'm going to put up the white flag. I'm out.
I ain't going to be able to do
because
it.
Because I can see how you're about to drag this man, and I don't like it. Right. And I don't like it. I would prefer you to press the eject button and just let them pair him with somebody else like they did last season.
I think that they said, oh, no. If you say yes, you going to film from now until the end of this thing. It's got to be an extenuating circumstance, because I think
maybe they did.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying,
we don't know. And if y'all heard something, let us know.
It feels like
they definitely found somebody else before.
What you mean?
Like when the Joan left. You know what I mean?
That was stupid as hell. It was stupid and a waste of my goddamn time. Let's move on to when David sits down with her family. And her sister gave him context about who she is and how she is. And she says that they grew up in an all-women household. Their parents were divorced when she was 5. That made more sense to me. There is also no faith in men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got to do it. And y'all be thinking that there is a badge for saying that you did it by yourself.
It's really
you do not get a reward for struggling.
You don't.
You do not get a reward because you did it alone.
Or
you don't.
Or just for simply adulting.
You just don't.
You don't.
So David sits down with Michelle's family as well. And I thought this was an interesting conversation. Like I said, she is the daughter of divorce and live in an all-women household, which
that sounds like a movie title. That was dark. The daughter of divorce.
That does sound like a movie.
I will watch it, though.
But I align with that.
Do you really?
We grew up in a household, all women. Like, my granny, it was all women. We would have, like, my uncle bop in or out, or my dad. Not like my dad bopped in or out, but majority of my life, my dad was out of the household. You know what I mean? So we kind of grew really tight in that, like, my mom was big on, like, it's us and then it's them. And we felt that even about my dad. Like, it's us, and he would come over. It was a time my dad would come over in the morning to make sure we was good, and then come over at night to make sure our homework was good. So, like, it wasn't like, that. But
that's why I say really. Yeah,
I know. But I feel like my formative years were just the girls. And I do understand what she's saying, but I also feel like y'all incessant need. It is so wonderful that you all have been able to get to a space where you could be successful and independent, because you feel like the badge of being independent is a badge. History would say being independent is a badge, because I feel like it does shape you in a way where you are hyper independent and can do things on your own. But I don't think that should make you mean and nasty. It
shouldn't, but you also never wore it as a badge of honor.
Because I don't think it was. And I don't think my mom celebrated it that way.
Because it's not. You're just an adult. So we have to stop. There's this growing demographic of women in today's time that think they deserve, like, a plaque, like a Nobel Peace Prize for being an adult.
Well, I want to say this, though.
I pay my own bills. You should pay your own bills.
Although,
I take care of my responsibilities. You should. You're an adult.
Well, wait a minute. Because I do agree with this, right? And on one hand, but I do think on the other hand, it's important to note that women weren't even able to get a credit card or purchase a home on their own until 1970.
Yeah, but these women are 30 years old. Like, you should be absolutely aligned and comfortable with the idea that you should be taking care of yourself, especially as a single individual. You don't get extra points for that. Like,
Joe,
look at me.
Literally, her mom is a part of a generation of women who at one time could not purchase their own home in 1970.
And as an adult, your responsibility is to take care of yourself.
Nowadays.
Full stop.
You know what it is? I think you're tired of. I think you could hear me if you didn't hear that part of it so
I'm just tired of it. Like, this whole, but then this whole, like, I'm an independent woman, hear me roar shit is exhausting. Like, you're a single woman. You should be independent. Who else?
But the reason why it's exhausting is because, as we've seen, women are part of that demographic will vote against their rights and then want to yell and scream that they're independent.
That part
women.
too.
It's really exhausting. And
you won't be independent if you go to the clinic.
Hello? So, not to say that we know Michelle's political preferences. We do not.
I'm going to tell you, I know it. I know who she voted for.
We do not. She said she like light-skinned men. She might be giving a little Barack Obama tease.
That don't mean nothing.
It really don't mean nothing. I did think that the way they spoke to him as if he was the issue in the moment, like, you're just giving her too much information. Like, have you not gotten to know another man?
But even they were nasty.
I thought so too.
He's just personable. So what my issue is if
nobody is mirroring personability.
But not only that, my issue is if he sat in front of you and did this. Yes. Mm-hmm. No. I don't know. Maybe if he did that, y'all would hate him. But because he answers questions full out, because he listens and then responds, because he has a personality, now it's you're too much. You need to back off. She literally said back off.
She literally.
Are you?
But they said back off. I mean, you're saying the sister, right? The sister said back off.
But then
that's my thing. Like, why are we speaking to?
Why are you nasty to this man?
And I mean this. But you know what? I'm gonna start returning the energy. While you sit there with your big back, are you telling a man to back? Who says that? To a man who is trying to communicate. But this is what I mean when I say y'all talk yourselves out of it. Men are not hard. At the point at which this man is being vulnerable enough to tell you all these things about himself, y'all don't even accept that. Y'all will rather make this a place of war and violence against his emotions than allow him to be in a space where he could thrive and express to you what is going on with him freely.
Right. I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to take it in a different direction. I don't think even the sister would have used those words if David looked like Alan. Y'all take that for what y'all want. But this back off language and all of that stuff, I think it's coded. Period.
Ooh. But that's what I meant by the violent piece.
Yeah.
But also, you get what your hand called for. Because guess what you wanted? A white bitch with blue eyes. And guess what you got? That.
Yeah.
That. And I think that, and this is not a dig on Michelle so much, but more about the overarching umbrella of how that can be, like what you just said, is a perception, right? Like, because I think you're right.
Yeah, because I've been in rooms where me and my counterpart with less melanated skin could say the same thing, and what I say can be seen as a completely different. It's aggression.
I've seen it 100 times. But
so the back off thing, I don't even like seeing that.
Back off, as if he's aggressing upon her person.
Yes.
Because he's communicating to you all who he is. He's trying to communicate who he is.
Y'all not even
and that's too much, so he needs to back off.
Y'all not even having an argument. Like, this is not even like a point of contention. He's just like talking.
He's just
having conversation.
Yeah. He wants you to get to know him.
Back off.
And I think that is such a big point.
It's coded.
But I also, and I'm not a believer that you have to date. I think you can date whoever you want to date. I'm not, anybody who knows that I'm a proponent for dating who loves you. But I think that it's heavy on the who loves you, who's understanding of your culture, who gets you, and not just you, your entire family.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're going to leave it there. This episode didn't give much. They on the Mexico trip now, and everybody hate each other. But KGMM and Camille Thomas and Carla and Juan. So we're going to leave it there, and we're going to see what they doing next week. Okay, y'all? I'm your girl, Intisar Eleanor. This is my beautiful husband, Joseph. And we'll see you beautiful mother jumpers later.
Peace.
Bye.